Propeller lift boats made their debut in the 1930s. They were powered by a 60-horsepower, four-cylinder Model A Ford engine set amidship. These innovative craft proved so successful, they set the standard in rogue mail delivery for the next 30 years. Up to 10 passengers and cargo rode in front of the engine, while the pilot navigated from a raised spoke steering wheel at the stern. An ingenious system of pulleys, chains, and universal joints could elevate the still-turning propeller when low water was encountered. Upon entering a shallow riffle, the pilot gunned the engine hard and simultaneously raised the propeller. The boat nimbly tiptoed over the sparkling waters. Now a mail run from Gold Beach to Agnes was accomplished in a few hours. The modern convenience of daily mail delivery had finally come to the Rogue. After World War II, a strong economy, fatter paychecks, and increased leisure time brought a huge surge of interest in recreational activities. For the first time, passengers eclipsed mail and freight as the mailboat's biggest payload. By the 1960s, the size, speed, and power of the mailboats increased substantially. It was none too soon, for more people than ever were clamoring for a ride. The hydrojet drive made it all possible. This new innovation was a sophisticated water pump powered by a large engine. The pump drew water in, compressed it, then ejected it through a nozzle at high speed. The river water itself became the propulsion medium, and propellers became obsolete. Today's mailboats typically sport 3 engines totaling 1,000 horsepower, powering triple jet drives. These wide-beam craft draw only a few inches of water and attain speeds of 30 miles per hour and more. The shallowest riffles and the strongest rapids are easily navigable with this extra maneuverability and thrust. Crooked riffle today presents no more of a problem than the placid tidewaters posed to earlier craft. As the mailboat docks at the historic village of Agnes, the mail and supplies are unloaded. Passengers disembark for an upriver lunch at one of the 3 lodges. Historic Lucas Pioneer Ranch offers family-style meals to hungry mailboat passengers. John Day Cooley homesteaded this 200-acre site in 1880. After lunch, guests are invited to stroll the grounds where they can view fascinating artifacts from bygone years. Singing Springs Ranch was built in 1951. It's named for the springs that gurgle from the hillside below the restaurant. Mailboat passengers eat lunch on a roomy deck overlooking the river. Kruger Lane Lodge serves up home-style meals in a rustic setting across the river from Singing Springs. The village of Agnes lies at the confluence of the Rogue and Illinois rivers. In the late 1800s, a group of families homesteaded the area on both sides of the river. It soon became a hub of Rogue Canyon commerce. In 1897, a new post office was established at Agnes, 8 miles below Elijah Price's pioneering post office at Illahee. By 1908, it had become the end of the run. Letters and packages for points upriver were delivered by mule or horse. Agnes marks the halfway point on the 64-mile Postman's Journey Tour. After lunch, the mailboat heads downriver, and passengers experience the Rogue anew from this fresh perspective. For those signing on for the 80-mile special delivery trip or the 104-mile handle with care trip, the mailboats continue upstream to the whitewater sections. In preparation, the passengers don life jackets. The air becomes electric in anticipation of the journey ahead. Above Agnes, the canyon narrows and deepens, and the rapids progress upstream like rippling white staircases. After negotiating Shasta Costa and 2 Mile Rapids, the early mailboats never ventured past Illahee at Big Bend. But today's jet boats skitter across these whitewater escalators with ease, giving passengers the ride of their lives. At Old Diggins Rapid, miners once dammed the Rogue's main channel and diverted the water to exposed natural rock sluice boxes. There they harvested the gold that had accumulated over the years. Little Wildcat Rapids marks a sharp turn in the channel of the Rogue. Large rocks just under the water at the top of the rapid are skillfully navigated by the mailboat captain. Foster Barn Rapids near Illahee were named after Charles Foster, an early homesteader. Foster Rapids is a long, rock-strewn whitewater chute that narrows to a pinched channel at the top, especially during low water. The Illahee and Big Bend area, home to Elijah Price's first post office, still reflects its original Indian meaning, beautiful land. As the river bends to the northeast, a large meadow marks the site of the last major battle of the Rogue River Indian War of 1855-1856. Watson Creek marks the beginning of the designated wild section of the Rogue, and the ride confirms it. After negotiating this thrilling rapid, the 80-mile special delivery trip turns around and heads back to Agnes for lunch. The 104-mile Handle with Care trip continues upriver for lunch at a wilderness lodge and more whitewater action. Solitude Bar in Rapids was a favorite fishing and riding spot for author Zane Grey. He described this area as a clean, lonely, sweet-smelling place with the gliding river below, and across it the green and yellow timbered mountains rising splendidly, with gray crags touching the skies. Zane Grey wasn't the only celebrity who appreciated the multiple rhythms and infinite moods of the Rogue. Clark Gable, Carole Lombard, Jack London, Babe Ruth, and Jackie Cooper all visited this celebrated river, a star in its own right. As the mailboat continues its journey through rapids with names like Quarter Inch, Half Moon, and Devil's Staircase, it finally arrives at Blossom Bar. This area was named by pioneers for the abundance of flowering azaleas growing along the banks. But it's a place that Zane Grey said might be better called Boulder Bar, for this long, steep stretch of white water is so choked with large rocks that it is not navigable by jet boat. And so, here it must end. The mailboat pilot slowly eases his craft about and heads downstream into the lowering sun, past early settlements and historic homesteads, between canyon walls and across open flats, around sharp bends and prominent landmarks, back to the mailboat docks, where passengers disembark with memories to last a lifetime. As the mailboat softly bumps against the dock, awaiting its next voyage, the river continues on until it too meets the end of its journey at the sands of Gold Beach and surrenders itself to the sea.